Do you buy these type of biscuits in a bag at your favorite grocery store? Well, did that for years and still do sometimes. You can just take these and pop them in an oven and cook them, and they're very good. But you can also make your own, and your own are even better than the ones you buy at the grocery store. Good morning, guys and gals. Bob Sellers here, your resident host and singing fisherman here on Hook, Line, and Singer. Hey, as you know, I do some different things from time to time, and today I am back in the kitchen. We're going to be cooking some fluffy, hot, delicious buttermilk biscuits, cathead biscuits, Hardee's biscuits. If you're here in Alabama, Jack's biscuits. Hey, these are just as good. You buy those in the bag sometimes at the store, and they're great too, but you can do it yourself, and they're even better, and it's not even that difficult. Hey, stick around, and I'll show you how to make fresh, hot, homemade biscuits to where you can freeze them. You can pop these in your freezer and let them freeze, and then put them in a like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and whenever you need a biscuit or want to cook a fresh hot biscuit, just go get one out of that bag, put it in the oven or even in your air fryer. We have learned to cook biscuits in an air fryer. We're new to the air fryer craze, and we're learning you can just do all kind of stuff with those things. It's really not a fryer. It's more like a little broiler with a fan in it. I think air fryer is what they use to kind of a marketing gimmick, but they're great little kitchen appliances. And if you don't have an air fryer, whatever it is, I highly recommend that you get one. It's great for cooking meats in, cooking breads in, even warming up leftovers. It tastes just like they were fresh out of the oven if it's something that you want to get crispy again. Anyway, stay tuned and let's make up some beautiful, fluffy, homemade scratch buttermilk biscuits. All right, so here's everything you're going to need to make these homemade scratch biscuits. You're going to need, first and foremost, self-rising flour. We're going to use 4 cups for this. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. You're going to need about 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2/3 of a cup of vegetable shortening, about 3 tablespoons of butter, and then about 2 cups of buttermilk. That is the key right there. Then you're going to need a good sized mixing bowl for combining all this. And if you have one, this is called a pastry cutter. This is what we're going to use to cut the shortening and the butter into the flour to combine that real well. You can also use a fork, but these work really, really well for me. And then, of course, by the end, you're going to need a biscuit cutter. And I like one about that size. I guess that's about maybe 2.5 inches across, something like that. Doesn't make a giant biscuit, but you get a decent sized biscuit, and you can make a lot more of them with this one instead of the really, really big one. All right, so let's get started. You're going to need a flat, clean surface. Now, this is just the countertop of our kitchen. I have disinfected it. So everything is clean here, and I need a really big surface. Some of you pros out there who've been doing this a whole lot longer than I have might can get away with like a wooden board or something like that. And if you do have something wood that you can use, that's better because this is real slick. Wood is better because it kind of the flour adheres to it a little better. And so we're going to have to sprinkle some flour down here to keep our batter from sticking when we get ready to press out these biscuits. So let's do that right now. I'm just going to take my little flour scoop here, and I'm going to make just a very thin layer of flour on this countertop. I do this when my wife is not at home, so she likes the finished result a whole lot better than seeing the process of it. Because for some reason she doubts my willingness to clean it all up. Yeah, we'll clean it up. So, I don't know, that's probably fine. That's an area, maybe, I would say probably 18 by 16, something like that. Just a kind of a little rectangular area. That's where we're going to be doing our work here after we get our batter prepared. All right. So first things first, let's measure out our 4 cups of self-rising flour. This is a half cup measuring cup right here, so it's going to be pretty easy. So the next thing I'm going to do is combine our dry ingredients. So I'm going to add the baking powder and the sugar to this. About 1 tablespoon of each. I'm going to turn another light on in here, make sure we got plenty of light going. Okay, so that's it for my dry ingredients. So I'm just going to combine that together using this pastry cutter here. You could get a whisk or a spoon and stir that up, but I don't see the need in dirtying up any more dishes than necessary. So I'll just use this. Now we're going to add our shortening and our butter. I've got about 2/3 of a cup measured out right here. So let's just get all of that in here. And then just drop our butter. Now you're going to want to take this pastry cutter and do just that. Just start cutting this, the butter and shortening, or fat if you want to look at it like that. Back in the olden days they would have used straight lard for this. And I've read and seen where others say that you want to do this until it gets to about the consistency of grits, something like that, or kind of like cornmeal. But above all, you want to make sure that there are not big chunks of your shortening in here. You want to get that cut up just as little as possible. And you're really just kind of develop a knack for doing that. Just seeking out all of the larger pieces and continuing to hit them with this pastry cutter until they're small pieces. And as you can see, the consistency of this mixture is kind of changing here. Everything is coming together nicely. I don't really think you can do this stage too much, but it kind of gets to, you kind of reach a point where it's a point of diminishing returns. You're not really accomplishing much, and that's when you know it's ready. Getting close. You see that consistency, that new consistency that's taking over. It's gone from a fluffy to just the pure fluffiness of flour. to more of I guess kind of like consistency of ground corn, cornmeal or grits. Is pretty good description, really. I've still got a few little pieces in there that I want to get out. You know, I assume you could use a food processor for this step as well, and maybe save you a little time, elbow grease. But I like doing it this way. Okay, I think that's ready for the buttermilk now. I find that a wooden spoon works really well for this step. I like to create a little well in the center of my flour mix here, and I'm just going to pour in all 2 cups of the buttermilk. And then you're going to rake that flour from the sides, kind of as you stir the milk. You're going to rake the flour in. Now, somebody like Miss Isla Knight does all of this from scratch, and so she'll just have a big pile of dry dough, and she'll make her well in the center of it, and she'll stir and pull as much flour in until she feels like it's enough. And then just save whatever's left, and that's a good method for doing it too. But this is more of a measured out recipe, and I know that I want to use really just about all of this flour mixture. So we're just going to get it combined. As the best we can. And you want to do it until it's just combined. Whether it's when you're handling this or when you're stirring it, you want to fool with this batter as little as possible. Okay, so that's mixed up pretty good there, and now we're going to take this. It'll be pretty wet, as you can see. You're thinking, okay, now how in the world are you ever going to turn that into a biscuit? Well, just stick with me. We're going to take this now and dump it out onto our floured surface. Right. I told you not to do anything with your flour. Here's why. At this point, we're going to take a little of that flour and sprinkle it over the top of this, just so we have something to handle here. And also at this point, go ahead and get a little flour on your hands. All right. Now we want to form one flour piece out of this. Kind of rake that flour up against it, press it out. You don't ever want to use a roller. That's going to turn into a tough biscuit. You just want to toss this with your hands. And again, you want to handle it as little as possible. But what you've got to do is get it to where, just to where it's manageable. Just to where it's manageable. And we're getting close. Getting close. All right, I think we're good right there. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to press it out to ½ an inch thick or so. Try to get it as uniform and in thickness as possible. That seems right to me, right there. So that's what we've got. That is nothing more than one really large biscuit. But we've got a cure for that too. Ha-ha. Go ahead and dip your biscuit cutter down in your flour a little bit. And just starting at the edge, go ahead and start cutting your biscuits out. You don't want to twist. Somebody taught me that a long time ago. You don't want to twist. You want to go straight down and just, you'll see them start to kind of free up there. Just like so. Now, isn't that a pretty little future biscuit? You want to save these pieces. We're going to come back to those. You know, other than kind of satisfying and knowing you did it yourself, this is also kind of fun. Can y'all see how that would be kind of fun? Do you ever like playing with Play-Doh as a kid? I loved Play-Doh. You know what? You can eat this Play-Doh. I love biscuit dough. I got sick on it one time as a kid at my Aunt Brenda. We called her Aunt Bent. Her house. I ate too much biscuit dough. Now this is how I freeze my biscuits. I take a large cookie sheet and line it with a piece of wax paper and just ever so gently pick those biscuits up and lay them on that wax paper. Now these biscuits the ones on the cookie sheet here are what would be called the first fruits in the Bible, I guess. Those are the first fruits. Now, I'm going to get my board, if you have a board, or my countertop in this case, and flour it again. And I'm going to take these pieces here, and we're going to make more biscuits out of those. These will always be a little bit tougher than your first runs though, because you're handling them more. So I'm just going to have to handle these a little bit more, turn them a few more times. I think one more time here on that batch will be good. And you can feel in your hand that they're just a little bit tougher. They'll still be very good, but they just won't be quite as fluffy as the first run was. And you just keep repeating that process until you run out of biscuits. And just use as much of this pure doughy goodness as you can. Try not to waste any of it. Try to get one more biscuit out of there. This one may really be tough, I don't know. Be all right. I'm gonna eat that. All right. On the cookie sheet we go. So as you can see, that makes quite a pan of biscuits. That's 27 biscuits. But I'm gonna take one of these. I'm gonna take that last one we just made. Oh, where was it? I think it was right there. I'm not sure. Maybe it was this one. Anyway, I'm going to show you how they cook up. But right now, these are going in the freezer. Oh, yeah. And I'm just going to let those sit in there for a couple of hours. And when they are frozen, I'll come back and I'll get them, and I'll just add those to that Ziploc bag. And now, just to show you for demonstration purposes, I'll show you how an air fryer just like this one will cook up some homemade biscuits really nicely. So let's just take this one biscuit that I saved out of the batch. We're going to put him right there in the center. And I promise you, you can take these directly out of your freezer and do the same exact thing. It may just take them a couple minutes longer. I'm going to just slide that in there, and I've got that set on 400, and I'm going to put it on about 10 minutes and check it. All right, here we go. While that biscuit is cooking, if you really want to take it to another level, won't take much for this. Take you a little butter, a little salty butter, and just put it in a glass and zap that in the microwave. And then we're going to brush that butter onto that biscuit right before it gets done. We're 5 minutes in and I can already smell it. I can smell it. Okay, because I can smell it, I know something is happening. Scoot this back. All right. See that little biscuit rising? I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a little butter. Stuff Stay tuned. See our fine china right there? I can't wait. Look at there. Look at there. It's getting ready. It's getting right. It's getting right. Needs just a little bit browner, which gives me another chance to baste it with the butter. Can't have too much butter. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. All right, are you guys ready for this? I guess it's been about 12, 13 minutes. Let's check it out. Oh my goodness. Do y'all see that sizzle, that butter on top of that biscuit? My heavenlies. All right. Let me gently get him out of here and not burn myself. Are y'all just as amazed as I am as how a biscuit turns out in the air fryer? Check this out, guys. Look, I'm gonna pull it apart this way. Now remember, this is not one of the first runs. This is one of the seconds or the thirds. Oh, hot, hot, hot. That steam. Oh yeah. Take you a little pat of butter, put on there, watch that melt. Now, we're out of Golden Eagle syrup, ever how you pronounce it, but Golden Eagle is made right up the road in Fayette, Alabama, and it'll change your life. So if I had some of that, I would pour it over this. But since I don't, I will pour some. This is some local sourwood honey. Well, it's local to Hiwassee, Georgia. Garrett Bee Farms gave me that. So let's just drizzle a little honey on this hot biscuit. Can y'all taste that? I know you can't. I ask you that every time I cook. Oh yeah. I'm gonna take the buttered side. Look at that. Fluffy. Delicious, guys. I'm not saying it because I made them, but you won't get a better biscuit anywhere in the world than that right there. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hey everybody. Hey folks, thanks as always for tuning into this video. I hope you found something here that you could enjoy, or maybe even learned a little something in here. If so, leave me a comment in the comment section of this YouTube video. You can only do that if you have a YouTube account. Creating a YouTube account is absolutely free, by the way, and once you've created that account, you can subscribe to my channel and like my videos, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could do that. Hey, remember, God loves you, so do I. Bye-bye.